Locally, my clients are physicians, nurses, single moms, couples, multiple generations of families, seniors on fixed incomes, disabled, veterans, residents of assisted living facilities, and teachers at the local elementary, middle, and high schools. Most are dealing with serious issues other than their smoking habit, further degrading their quality of life and their ability to quit smoking. From 18 to 96 years old with an average age of over 40, nearly all referrals by other successful clients. Most have smoked for decades, the result of the 93% failure rate that they've been stuck with. They don't believe you and don't trust you with damn good reason. You will never reach these people. They know you don't care and they despise you for it. I greet them in a t-shirt, this one with Kevin Crowley on it, and blue jeans, and a nicotine molecule tattooed on my forearm.
It actually is a trap.
It's a trap.
To confuse the public about science, to confuse scientists about science.
The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Woo! Hello and welcome to the show, boys and girls. There's people here. Michelle Elliott, Mallory, and Jason, and Hunky is here, and there's other people. They're lurking. I can see you. Good evening, and welcome to the show. But it's Friday, and we're gonna do the same thing we do every Friday. We're gonna sit here and have some fun. We're gonna do some news stories about idiots trying to tell us what to do. Steve has showed up. Hey, Steve, and we'll just have some chuckles. But let me go over here to my list of stuff, and let's find Kevin's little video.
Complain and moan and groan and point.
Well, that's, you're
I'm doing a little more moaning tonight, though.
The pointing is, well, I know. I mean, Kevin said earlier
I'm old
in the back room that he's tired because he had to get up early and he helped his sister move stuff. I guess he did some lifting and moving today.
I did. I don't like that. That's man's work. I don't like it.
He's tired. He's tired, boys and girls.
And plus, you said we're going to have fun. I'm here to bitch.
Oh, well.
All I can say is Doritos. We'll find that eventually, though.
We'll have some fun and bitch. Usually we do both, Kevin. But
fucking Doritos.
Doritos.
That's the drinking word of the night.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, let me move my drink over to the other side so I can handily reach it for the frequent number of times that the word Doritos gets said.
Don't confuse that with Fritos. It's Doritos. See, there you
go. So well, other than moving your sister and waking up early today, what was your week like, young man?
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, so it was that good, huh?
Well, I will say that one of the kids is still alive.
Only one of the kids is still alive?
Well, the other one I'm not even mad at. I've decided I don't want either of them. If anybody wants a 26 and an almost 30-year-old, let me know. But
I think at this age it's too late to put them in swaddling clothes or anything. So
and
you can't take them to the fire station and leave them on the front door.
I haven't seen my grandson since last Wednesday, so there's another.
Oh, that's why
Yeah, I
you're out of
know.
sorts.
I know.
Now I
I
get
was
it.
supposed to see him Saturday, but he
You
didn't come.
need to get joint custody, Kevin. You need a petition for joint custody.
Just something about boundaries. I don't know what the fuck that means, but anyway.
Grandparental rights. So last I think it was like Saturday or Sunday, you sent me a link to a thing.
But yeah.
From Ken Warner.
Yeah.
And it says here, kids no longer smoke cigarettes. Why aren't we celebrating? And it's by Kenneth Warner, PhD. We all know Kenneth Warner. And it's a fact-based paper here, Kevin.
It better be.
It has many sections here. It says the remarkable decline in youth smoking, and there's a long section here with little graphs. It says in 2023, 1.9% of U.S. high school students and 1.1% of middle school students reported smoking cigarettes at least once in the past 30 days. Kevin, we're gonna have a story later on.
Yeah.
About that story we talked about last week about 1 million people vaping in the UK that had never smoked cigarettes before.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's gonna really be important that we focus on the past 30-day usage number. You know, any terminology that refers to past usage.
Yeah.
And how they define never users, because it's really gonna interest you. But anyway, it says past 30-day smoking prevalence among 12th graders rose through the 90s to 36.5% in 1997, Kevin. So in essentially like 26 years, it went from 36.5% to 1.9% in high school.
Don't blame me.
Is a pretty miraculous turnaround, I would say.
I can't imagine after all those decades that suddenly it's turned for the better, allegedly.
Allegedly. You always have to couch our wording.
Yeah, because somebody might want to sue. Or who knows?
Yeah. So, smoking among 10th and 8th graders, I always think it should be 8th and 10th graders. I don't know why I harp on the ordering of the numbers here, but it just seems unnatural to order them that way. But anyway, in 1996, 30.4% of 10th graders and 21% of 8th graders. Now, I was well beyond the grade school age in 1996, Kevin. But when I was in college, it was a very, very high number.
Well, yeah.
But before also decreasing nearly every year. So there is a figure here. It's this thing here, and it shows look at this really rapid decline. I don't know if I can I open this? Yeah, there it goes. So look at this. Look at this from 1996, which is here, right? Where my cursor is. I'm trying to wiggle it so that you can see. Look at this. It's like a kid on a slide in the playground. Whee!
Well,
except for this one little spike here in 2020. But there was a world pandemic going on, and a lot of people were stressed out. I still don't know how these kids were getting cigarettes if they were locked down at home. But
right. If you go to 2000.
Right here.
Between 95 and 2098, we'll say it's not the middle, but whatever. So you get those top three little stars that my arrow's on, and it plummets to what 20. I gotta make this
down here to 2004. This is a straight line, and then there's a little hiccup, and then straight down again,
and straight down again. So in 2005, where it starts declining. It's probably to some extent tobacco control efforts, if you want to call it that.
Hey, Jeffrey,
age stuff whatever. Less people smoking, more people knowing that it's not good for you, education wise, and the kids weren't smoking as much. And then it just plummeted from there.
Yeah, right about here, Kevin. Right about here, where I'm circling these three little pyramids right here.
Yeah.
This is when vaping sort of 2007-ish, 2008, 2009, 2010, right in here.
Yeah.
So we can't really take credit for anything over here.
Nope, not really.
We can really say that from here down, we were part of the solution, Kevin. And even if you look right across, you go right over to here. So even then, it was still about 20% of kids, in these age groups, right about there.
That's what they wanted. Now, I've always had a difficult time explaining myself. This thought process I have in my head is that they use the words future smokers, the new generation, this and that and the other. That they need those people to continue to pay the taxes that they assumed were going to drop nice and slow, like you're going to show that other chart later, I imagine. And now it's going like this. It just took a really deep dive. So those people who depend on those taxes depend on kids smoking. That's why there's not actual efforts, So but anyway.
Now we're going to go to this next paragraph right here, Kevin. And it says past 30-day smoking includes everything from puffing on a cigarette once to smoking daily. Now, Kevin,
what?
Now, I'm sure that at some point when you were a young man, you since you started smoking when you were like 4.
Yeah.
When you were in high school, hanging out behind the gym or under the bleachers or wherever it is that you went to hide.
I was under the bleachers,
and some other kid walked by and said, "Hey, can I have a drag?"
Mm-hmm.
And you probably were kind enough to give him a puff. Now you participated in creating a smoker.
You can't bogart the Badubich. You gotta share it.
Because he smoked once. One puff, he is now a smoker.
Oh, I addicted hundreds, probably.
Yeah, and even though he may never touch another cigarette,
he's a former smoker.
He's now a smoker. Yeah. Now down here it says that youth cigar smoking has plummeted as well. Now, Kev, I'm not being a like a uncool person here, but from what I understand, because we didn't do this when I was in college and smoked stuff, because it really didn't do anything for me anyway. But we didn't do this thing where you take the cigar and you loosen it a little bit and you I guess jam some of the wacky tobacco into the cigar.
I didn't either. I don't understand it.
We didn't do that when I was a kid, but I'm
interested.
I don't know if they're saying that cigar smoking has plummeted, but we already know that the use of alternative has increased.
Yeah, dab pens and et cetera. Yeah, THC.
But maybe they don't have to make those blunts anymore because they have
I don't know.
Vape pens. I don't know. Yeah. So
probably
Jeffrey says in the chat room that the WHO defines a person who smokes as someone who have smoked 100 cigarettes or more in their lifetime.
Yeah.
So if you were 12 years old and between the time you were 12 and the time you were 18 and you smoked 5 whole packs of cigarettes.
Yeah.
In 8 years.
And quit.
Never smoked another one. You're still you were a smoker.
Are a well-loved and needed statistic.
Yes.
And thank you for your support.
So again, I'm not going to read this entire thing, but I am going through and pointing out, the things that I think are, So down here it says the public health community has been fighting youth smoking for decades. Why, therefore, are we not celebrating what is essentially the demise of smoking by adolescents? That's a good question, Kenneth Warner.
They don't want to.
Yeah. He says several reasons come to mind. One is concern about youth tobacco use in all its forms. In 2023, 10% of high school and middle school students had used any tobacco product in the last 30 days, while less than half the rate of 2019, which is 23%, and now it's down to 10%. This prevalence still represents a consequential portion of students. Anyway, that's this, 10%, Kevin. 10% is just so happens to be the same percentage of kids that are in public school that get diddled by their teachers.
Because, well,
and
Diddy's
where
in jail
where
now,
is all
so
the
maybe
outrage? Where's
is.
I mean, technically, Kevin, if
There
that
is.
is correct, and it is
Right.
because that's U.S. Department of Education numbers.
Yeah.
If this
you told me.
10% vaping number is as accurate as they want it to be, and we know that the 10% number of for kids that are inappropriately touched, fondled, whatever, by their math teacher or
Molested.
well, that's the whole. I was trying to be a little.
You know what though, and I'm going to tell you this.
Where is all of the where are all the massive campaigns to educate parents and kids about the dangers of teachers?
They keep it awful quiet, don't they?
Compared to the vast array of all this money that is being spent on vaping,
Right.
to scare people about vaping,
Oh.
but they're sure as hell not scaring people about these teachers that are diddling the kids. Kevin, we covered last week on the Rumble show, it was something like $100 million in just 1 week of damages spent by various public school departments in the United States in a 1 week period.
Cigar Babe came in.
I see, CB.
So
So
what I was
where is all the
gonna
outrage
say-
about that, Kevin? It's the same percentage. It's the same number.
Well, yeah, but we've
That's
got all the.
according to this, that is a consequential portion of students.
We don't care, Patrick. We have them vapors we got to concern ourselves with. Shh, be quiet.
Yeah, who cares
Man.
about all of the psychological trauma these kids are going to have later
No.
in life because their
No.
teacher decided to grope them or bugger them or whatever? I just don't get it, If it's really a consequential portion, you would think that there would be massive media campaigns. Stop the teachers from touching little Jimmy, But anyway, I don't want to get off on a tangent there, Kevin. Anyone concerned about youth tobacco use may consider the demise of smoking per se only a step in the right direction. This is especially true for many people, including public health professionals, who believe that smokeless products are as dangerous as smoking, Kevin.
Dum, 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 dum.
Those snus and the Zemos are just as bad as the Marlboros, Kevin.
No. False.
And that vape pen is going to kill you. You're going to have black goo shooting out of your lungs, Kevin. Or no. It was fried. I had fried chicken lungs. That was one of the stories, and the other one was I had black goo. There were two different stories. Yeah.
I did cough earlier and thought I pre-niculated, but I was wrong. I was wrong.
Well, Kevin, they had this antidepressant a couple years ago that as a side effect of taking that antidepressant, a certain percentage of people taking that antidepressant, if they yawned, they would have an orgasm. I went to every psychologist in Corpus Christi, Texas, to get the prescription for that, and they wouldn't let me have it. I just be going around all the time. But no, anyway.
Clusterfuck. Look at that.
Yeah. So it says here, survey data demonstrates the extent of this belief. In 2017, the Health Information National Trends Survey, the HINTS survey, asked respondents, do you believe that some smokeless tobacco products, such as chewing tobacco and snuff, are less harmful than cigarettes? 71%. 71%, Kevin,
EGAD
said no, that those products were
EGAD.
just as harmful as cigarettes, which is a lie. Yeah. Speaking of clusterfuck, I have a couple right here in the bag still. New in bag. These are mint condition, Kevin. These are collector's items.
I think I have one more. I gave them all, I think, but one plus the one I got, I think.
I didn't give any of them away because I don't like anybody.
Oh, I have a couple friends.
And I even have these really cool Son of Liberty Radio vape band bracelets.
No, those I have. You sent me, I think, 2 of those.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah.
But I think he sent me 4.
But, Andrew is in the room. He may actually still have a stock of those. And now that he has a wrench, he can actually put a link in the chat room. Because he can link if he wants. Now that he has a wrench. But anyway, so the lies, the misinformation have brainwashed people into thinking that something that is relatively safe.
That's right.
Doesn't have any is not safe at all.
And how does that benefit the public?
You want to know how it benefits the public, Kevin?
Yes.
It keeps people that smoke on the cigarettes that the government taxes.
Yeah.
And then it puts that money into an account in the government, each state into the state coffers, so that they might have a few pennies to help shore up the cost of patching a road with some asphalt.
Gotcha. Oh, and they offer free patches every, year for a week.
So, every once in a while, some of that money might actually trickle down into something that benefits the people. But otherwise, that's about really the only benefit that, people would get. So it's similarly, Kevin, the 2020 hints asked respondents to compare electronic cigarettes with conventional cigarettes. 62.7% perceived e-cigarettes to be as harmful as or more harmful than smoking, Kevin.
As or more.
And then there were 60% of people. A recent survey of physicians found that more than 60% of physicians believe that all tobacco products are equally as harmful, Kevin.
And that's even sadder.
Now, these are people that have spent as much as $250,000 in education to learn how to be a doctor.
Well, learn how to tell the nurses how to doctor.
Well, the nurses usually have to tell the doctors what to do.
Those are the queens.
These are people that have spent $250,000 on education who cannot understand that it's pretty simple. Harm reduction, something like as simple as wearing a seatbelt, Kevin. They get that. And they get, hey, put elbow pads and knee pads and a helmet on your kid if they're out rollerblading. They might get that. They understand about fire extinguishers, Kevin. Keeping a fire extinguisher in the kitchen in case you have an oil fire. Make sure if you have a fire extinguisher in your kitchen that it's the one that does all fire. There's otherwise, if you get the wrong class of fire extinguisher, that oil fire is not going to work. But anyway, be careful, boys and girls. These doctors are, so far in debt. This is an example of what is wrong. I see there's one of these conservative guys that are on YouTube that go from college to college, and I don't know what his name is, but everywhere he goes, he wrote a book called "College is a Scam," and I actually get part of his point. I mean, I went to college for a very long time, so but. When you go to college, the first 2 years that you're paying to go to college, you're paying for classes that have nothing to do with what your major is. All of the core curriculum classes, your Englishes and your histories and speech. You have to learn how to give a speech and all this stuff that really does, they're making you take these classes that really have, again, that have nothing to do with your whatever it is that you want to do when you grow up.
Yep.
So, for 2 years, you're beholding to them to take these stupid classes that really aren't helping you in your career. I mean, I guess if you're a nervous kid, you might need to learn how to get up in front of people and talk, but you can do that in other ways. You can build it into the classes that are required for your major. Hey, you got to stand up in front of the class and read your paper today. Oh, that's 2 birds with 1 stone. You had to write a paper on a topic that's for your major, and you had to learn how to speak in front of people. But anyway, I get that. This is how big this game is they're not teaching these doctors, these $250,000 in debt doctors, how to think critically, Kevin. I'm
how to
sure
listen
there
to
are
patients.
people in our classroom that are not PhDs or medical doctors that learned to think critically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure if I've talked to CB over the years. CB it has bought vape products, and she's done exhaustive research on the internet to understand what it is that she's putting into her body, and she's
thinks for herself.
She's done some research to compare whether or not this is something that she should do or wants to do instead of smoking.
And by the way,
she has weighed the pros and the cons. She has thought critically about the topic and decided, yes, bubblegum vape is better than dying of cancer from cigarettes. And I'm sure that Michelle Elliott and Festus and Andrew and all the other people in the chat room have done similar research on the topic. And I'm not talking about 100 hours of research, even though they probably have done over the years have done that much. But a doctor could easily do just an infinitesimal amount of research to find out that, yes, there is a significant difference between smoking a cigarette, using a snus, using a nicotine pouch, vaping, to find that, yes, these are indeed scientifically safer than a combustible cigarette. CB says, critical thinking my ass. So you don't, you're not a critical thinker, CB? I'm sure you are.
She is.
I'm sure you are. I know that you're a member of the Cranky Old Broad Club, but that's okay,
That's what I was getting to. I wanted her to make sure to tell me I'm right or wrong. Skip is the Cranky Old Broad, and that's
I think we have a club, Kevin. I would never say that Skip is a cranky old broad. Now,
that's your problem.
Over the years, I've been around CB enough to know that she can be cranky. but Skip has never been anything but kind.
Skip is the determined. It's already done. She's cranky. And I think we coined Scarbabe as crabby old broad one day on Twitter, and I'd have to find it, but I didn't want to get off the screen. Yeah. She didn't come in much.
Well, when she's bored on a Friday night, CB shows up.
She's a smart one.
She's highly intelligent. Yeah. And I don't want to piss her off. I do not want to piss her off because I've seen her go off on people that she's mad at. I don't want to be part of that. No.
She probably went off on us. Who knows?
She probably has, at least on Twitter. I'm sure there's been a couple instances, but I'm glad that we had the safety of Twitter,
That's right.
Anywho, so Kenneth goes on here. He says, Scary, nowhere have worries about adolescents using tobacco products and risking nicotine addiction played out more vividly than in the case of e-cigarettes. E-cigarettes gained popularity among adolescents a decade ago, leading to the Juul-inspired leap in youth vaping in 2018 and 2019. Kevin, vaping by that time, I had been vaping by that time 8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
So they're saying that it took 8 years for there to be a youth epidemic in vaping just because
No.
Juul showed up?
No.
I don't believe that for a minute.
It was a
Now, I don't like
preconceived
Juul.
bullshit
I don't
story.
like Juul, and I was there when Juul threw the vaping industry under the bus at a VTA conference and said, "Well,
Yeah.
we're not fighting for y'all. We're only fighting for us."
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was there when it happened. So, you know,
Sorry. I'm ignoring you. I'm watching Cigar Bait.
well, I don't want to highlight that and throw that on the screen. I don't want to get in trouble. You could have said anything other than that word there. Right?
Yeah, the very first word, right?
YouTube would have an issue with that if I threw that on screen. I can't do that.
God.
Yeah. So here, Kevin, it says the second concern is that vaping can cause to nicotine addiction.
Yeah.
While warranted evidence indicates that vaping-induced addiction may be less pervasive than commonly assumed, because it doesn't have all the other shit that the cigarette does. Kevin.
Ding.
It's not the nicotine. It's it's a combination of the nicotine and the process, the way they process the tobacco,
MAOIs.
The ammonia cracking the nicotine
Sugar.
molecule open so that it's easier to.
Sugar.
There's sugars. There's
What kinds of
MAOIs present after the process, so that when you smoke it, it becomes more pleasant and addictive, and it gives you more of a dopamine hit. All sorts of chemical stuff going on in the combustion process, Kevin, that they don't want to hear.
They don't want you to know.
There's a certain person that's name was thrown in the chat room here who is a doctor. He's not a doctor of public health. He is a public health warrior. It says right on his Twitter, public health warrior. That a member of our chat room asked him about nicotine and other plants and vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a guy that's supposed to be a college professor. Now, he does teach social media programs in public health. So he's essentially teaching people how to use like Instagram and the TikToks to make public health programs. He lied. He didn't lie. I just think he was so stupid he didn't know. But he claimed that tobacco was the only source of nicotine in the world.
Right.
That it was not in anything other than tobacco. And I don't think I've ever seen him admit that he was wrong. But again, this is more proof that education does not make intelligence.
He thinks you and I literally are industry.
He does. He does.
We own shops.
There's no way in hell
tobacco
anybody would have a podcast and spend as much
Fuck.
time as you do on the internet,
What the fuck is wrong with people?
Yeah. There's no way anybody would be passionate enough about anything enough to spend a couple hours a week on the YouTubes enjoying themselves.
You know what I have to say to that?
People. Yeah.
I collected 7,238 people's answers to 14 questions. So don't fucking tell me there ain't nobody on the internet.
Nobody but a tobacco shill, Kevin,
could answer those questions.
Would go on the internet and create a poll and go to all the work that you did.
No.
To make a poll about vaping, unless you were a tobacco shill.
From my mother's basement. In fact, you're right.
So I'm going to skip to the end here and read Kenneth's paragraph here. It says the rapid and nearly complete disappearance of adolescent smoking is arguably the single most dramatic and ultimately important tobacco control achievement to date. Next on the docket is the elimination of adult smoking. Like youth smoking, adult smoking has declined substantially, albeit more slowly, to 11.5%. The benefits of the decrease are uneven, however. Reductions in smoking by younger adults have driven the decline. Smoking has not decreased among older adults. Why would they quit, Kevin? If you're 80 years old, if you're Cigar Babe's age and 70 years old, and you were happy, why would you quit?
You probably wouldn't.
You're stuck in your ways. You don't want
unless you found something more satisfying. You're not.
Well, but CB was in her 60s when she quit. Now she's 70 something. So, anyway.
21. They're all 21, Patrick. You'll learn eventually.
That I'll put on screen.
You prick.
Smoking has not decreased among older adults, the group most at risk for near-term illness and death. 28 million Americans smoke, and cigarettes continue to claim 400. That number has not changed, Kevin, in the last 10 years. 480,000 lives.
Fucktard, Caliph said it was, I'd have to look, 460, I think. It did drop.
Oh, well, apparently it's not. It's not
once or
been
twice
publicly. It's been not been publicly advertised, because I still see 480,000.
Of
and
course
that's
you do.
the same number that I've been hearing since I started vaping.
Once they get you to say the lie, you're going to say it forever.
Furthermore, the overall 11.5% prevalence masks significant disparities in prevalence and mortality. Increasingly, smoking's victims are society's marginalized groups, people with lower income and education, those suffering from mental problems, indigenous people, and sexual and gender minoritized groups. Having essentially eliminated youth smoking, it's time to focus attention on reducing adult smoking, the prize in tobacco control, according to the Surgeon General. In the process, and perhaps as a model of success, let us celebrate the near elimination of cigarette smoking among our young people. They will live longer, healthier lives than their grandparents or their parents and grandparents. So, Kevin.
What?
My grandparents both smoked when they were younger.
Yeah.
And they quit smoking, maybe in their 40s or 50s.
Yep.
And my grandparents lived to be 98 and 99 years old.
Hey, my comments aren't coming up.
Why are your comments not coming up?
I said, get him, kick his ass, LOL. And then it says, this comment has failed to post to Son of Liberty Radio. I don't know.
Oh, maybe because you use profanity.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
You're not allowed to use profanity on
kick
YouTube,
his.
Kevin.
I'll put line on there. See if it goes. I'll be damned. I can't say ass. I can't type the word ass on fucking never. All right.
Nope, you can't.
I
don't make the rules, Kevin. YouTube owns this stuff. I have to follow their rules. That's why we have the whole Rumble portion of the show.
Rumbly and the tumbly.
Yeah.
Anyways, Cigar Babe's coming after you.
Yeah. That's all right. I'm down here in Texas. Now, why is it that Jason can type it and you can't?
I don't know.
I
have no idea.
Well,
cray.
Maybe not Jason.
Do I have
not Kevin? Not Kevin is more privileged than you. I don't know.
Better than me. I don't know.
And Mallory can type it as well, and so can Bastard.
I'm just telling you what it said.
Yeah. So it says here, vaping merely swapping one addiction for another, ED doctor tells select committee.
Bullshit.
Now, this is written by a guy named Stephen Forbes, but not that Stephen Forbes. Not our friend, Stephen Forbes. Oh.
Doritos.
Well, damn it.
Paywall.
On my phone, this was not paywalled. So that's one less article that we're going to hear, Kevin. Just roll with the punches.
There.
Now I'm waiting. I'm waiting here. Before I start to share this, I'm gonna scroll down and make sure that yes, we're okay here. So I mentioned the terminology never smoker and 30-day use and all that stuff. So there is a reply, a little bit of a little explanation. It says here, never smoker, ill-defined in study, says the UKVIA.
Yeah.
So it says here, recent studies suggest there are more vapors without a history of smoking in England. Improperly defines never smokers according to the UK Vaping Industry Association. This new research talks about never regular smokers vaping. Their definition for this being people who have not smoked for more than a year, says John Dunn from the UKVIA. This definition is problematic as it does not exclusively include what most people would define as non-smokers. As the study authors also point out, it's impossible. This is what I said. It's impossible to say if their cohort, whether experimenting with cigarettes already or not, would not have become smokers were it not for vapes. So last week on our show, I specifically said, there's no way that this is not valid because you cannot predict if any of those people that are vaping that had never smoked would have picked up a cigarette if vaping didn't exist.
Unless you're batshit crazy.
Well, unless you got some sort of like crystal ball or something.
Or you're batshit crazy.
Yeah. So Cigar Babe asks a valid question. What is so awful about vapors never smoking? That's a question that I thought was pretty valid. I said that's 1 million people who are now vaping that would never have, that aren't smoking.
So traditionally, wink, wink, when you turn 21 here, at least in the United States, what do? You go to your bar with your friends and you drink.
Get a prostitute and smoke some cocaine?
No, you drink for the first time ever, allegedly, right? Okay. So a non-drinker becomes a drinker when they turn 21.
Some.
Is it? There you go. Aha. There you go.
Now there are some holy rollers out there that are,
But does that mean they're going to drink every day from now on forever? Yeah, one of them might. Most of them won't.
I mean, I thought you were going to go, in a completely different direction. And
no, I'm
say, hookers and blow at 21, but okay. No. The authors themselves also know that some people have genes and circumstances leading them to like nicotine products. Traditionally, they end up smoking, but some are now discovering vaping without becoming smokers first. If vaping did not exist, they would be smoking. That's what I said. Exactly. Vaping should only be for smokers looking to quit, but they just need to ensure that those smokers continue to have access to what they need in order to quit. That is a bullshit quote. I don't like it. That is their justification there, Kevin.
Read that again.
Vaping should only be for smokers looking to quit, but we also need to ensure that those smokers continue to have access to what they need in order to quit. So,
no.
I don't know if this is John Dunn's quote. It's just floating out of there. It's not attributed to anybody, but I think that this quote is a load of horse shit as far as I'm concerned.
So
I would think here, if those people that have genes and circumstances leading them to like tobacco products, which is right there, I have highlighted it. If those people have something other than cigarettes to help them,
right?
Why in the fuck would you stand in the way?
Do you want them to smoke?
They do. But to not be used as a statistical weapon, Kevin.
Right. Well,
apparently, and I don't know who this quote here at the I don't know who that. If that's John Dunn, I need to sit down and have a chat with John Dunn. But
yeah,
essentially, they're saying that only people that have smoked cigarettes should have access to vaping products.
Right.
Now, you're saying that there's a safer product that they could have, but you can't have that safer product until you take that product that you know kills 480,000 people a year in the United States. I don't know what the number is in the UK. So you're saying that the only way that's not, so you're going to demonize anybody that vapes that has never smoked until they smoke a fucking cigarette.
Yeah.
I mean, do you understand the hypocrisy and the bullshit here? If you care so much about the harms of smoking and how bad smoking is, wouldn't you really prefer that they go for something safer? But no, you're saying they have to try the deadly thing before they can have the safer thing. James, only married people can now have condoms.
That's right.
That sounds like British logic right there.
It is.
Yeah.
I think an adult should have a choice to do what they want. That's all I got. I ain't got no more.
What is the mantra that we always hear about abortions? My body, my choice.
Right. Well, if you're educated, let me rephrase. I prefer the adult consumer as an educated choice. That's what I meant. Choice. Nothing more, nothing less. Well, stop banning shit. It doesn't matter to me. Did I freeze?
My computer just decided to do a.
There you are. Okay, I thought it was me.
No. My computer, my browser just shut down everything.
Mine used to do that. I really thought it was me. I thought, well, fuck, I froze again.
No, you were still on the screen the whole time. I was gone though.
Yeah, but I used to move even though I was off. So anyway, I was moving. I didn't know.
No, my browser just completely crashed. But we're back, and Cigar Babe is laughing at us, or
That's
me,
right.
One of the two.
She still wants to hurt you, so I'm good with that.
Well, that's okay. I might like it. You never know. I gotta reorient all my tabs over here real quick. All right.
And
now
since
we're
she
back.
thinks she's 70, she might kick your ass twice. No.
Kevin, she is 70.
she is not. 20 freaking 1. Doritos.
We
Doritos.
might have pissed off YouTube. Maybe. It was somebody typing the word ass in the chat room that really set everything off.
No.
Just saying. So yeah, I mean, all these people it's the same people that are arguing for autonomy, body autonomy, that are so hypercritical of us doing whatever we want with our bodies by vaping.
If you're not feeding me or blanking me, you have no right to tell me what to do. Fuck off.
Oh,
I mean that with all my heart.
Go over here to the Rumble real quick and make sure that we're still.
Duck.
Yeah, it looks like we're live over here. Okay.
And she's been walking for miles a day sometimes, and she can outrun you. I'm sure of it.
I have a car, man.
She will outrun you.
I have a car.
My body, my vape. Listen to that.
While she's chasing me, I'll just randomly throw a can of snooze at her, and she'll stop to pick it up. And
Squirrel, snooze.
I'll just randomly toss it. Oh, see, I was not gonna go there, CB, because I do live in Texas, but YouTube doesn't. I'm not going to say that out loud on YouTube because I have Kevlar.
Pew pew.
You never know. Hey, some of our friends disappeared when we crashed, Kevin. Our numbers went down.
Well, that's your fault.
That's
I
sad.
didn't do anything.
I'm sad. No, I'm not.
I crashed. Nobody cared. Except you.
Yeah, all of my firearms were lost in Jason's voting.
Tragic.
Voting
Tragic.
Accident, yes.
Tragic voting accident.
Uh-huh. Exactly. But,
right.
Kevin, 7-Eleven and Circle K are up in a tear right now. They're upset.
I heard.
It says here 7-Eleven and Circle K's U.S. cigarette sales at risk from vapes and cheap smokes, Kevin. Now, I was told that there's a shortage of Zen.
Yes, I heard. That was a while back.
That guy there, he's got plenty of, Zen and Fireball whiskey right there on, right beside each other. That just looks like a good party to me.
That's right.
Yeah. But it says here that this is New York and London. This is Reuters. It says a couche. I have no idea what this a couche-tard takeover of 7-Eleven would position the combined convenience store chain to dominate U.S. cigarette sales and try to push tobacco companies for better prices and promotions, including on fast-tracking nicotine pouches like Zen. Zen. Vapor Owl Andrew wants to know about the new Hulk Hogan 3000 puff disposables. They've been out for like 2 years, Andrew. They're not new. Mike Tyson has his own line of 3000 puff disposables as well. There's a whole bunch of those. Like, I don't want marquee, famous people brand disposable vape crap out there. But hey, more power to them. And they're all illegal.
That's right.
They're all.
You bunch of convict wannabes.
They're all after 8816, so they're illegal and whatever. But yeah. Right. So Canada's so what it's basically saying is that the company that owns 7-Eleven and the company that owns Circle K are trying to merge so that they can pressure tobacco companies into giving them a cheaper price. So it says here, if the two players were combined, the new U.S. chain size may offer greater bargaining power with cigarette manufacturers like Altria and British American Tobacco, but it would still face a major threat from illegal flavored vapes and deep discount smokes like Cheyenne that are widely sold as independent or at independent smoke shops and bodegas. I've never heard of them. I haven't looked at a cigarette and I haven't even been in the damn convenience store in years. No, I shouldn't say years because I did go buy an Enjoy for a show a while ago. That's still here somewhere on my desk. But yeah, Jason says he's looking for a Diddy vape. Well, Jason in his younger years was frequently at those Diddy parties. That's what I heard, at least.
A friend of a friend, right?
Yeah. I don't know why you sent this to us, Kevin.
Keep going. Drop down to the next set of graphs, sir. Just drop down. Well, maybe
there you go.
Can't tell if it's that one or not.
So this is billions of dollars in sales.
Yeah. That one and the next.
And then the volume.
Look at that.
Yeah, they're selling fewer cigarettes.
Huh. Imagine.
Well, that's a declining market. But see, they're not losing money, Kevin.
Well, they're just going to raise the price. It's fine.
Exactly. So as the number goes down, the price per unit goes up.
Ponzi scheme.
I mean, Kev, look. The percentage of cigarettes sold from 2019 to 2023 is substantial.
Yes.
Right? Substantial.
Yes.
Huge. Look at these charts. There, you're talking about like 2.5% of their revenue. Billions. Look. Well, actually, yeah. But their revenue has only dropped a couple $1 billion.
Right. And
between
tax
these
revenue also drops.
Right. But we're just looking at their profits.
Yeah.
If you look at the stock market and you look at their portfolio, they a lot of the tobacco companies have broadened their portfolios, by the way. So we know that Philip Morris bought a couple pharma companies in the last 5 years. Several of them own beverage companies now. So they've just diversified their portfolio.
Food. Yeah. They're either dabbling or broke off of food.
Yeah. So if you look at the actual prospectus and you look at the numbers, they ain't losing any fucking money.
No, they're fine.
Yeah. And obviously, snus, not snus. Snus, yeah. Was it Altria owns Swedish Match now?
I forget.
And Zyn? Yeah. I think it's either Philip Morris or it's Altria. Philip Morris. Philip Morris now owns Zyn as well as Swedish Match Snus.
Yeah.
General Tobacco. So sure, their cigarette market is going down, but they're raking in money hand over fist on the Zyns, Kevin. They just dropped like $100 million to build a factory in Colorado for a product that you have mentioned is not even legal yet.
It's not even approved yet.
So
and they're going to go ahead and do it anyway.
They're spending $50 million on a factory in Colorado.
That's a lot of cojones.
You don't think that they've already got an under the table agreement by the FDA to approve that product when
in my version of the story, Brian's already given them the reach around. Yes.
So,
at least once.
Let's not even. But look, this is the percentage of sales. Smokeless tobacco is 76.7%.
Yeah.
Cigarettes. And so vapes are down here at 44%. Look at that.
Wouldn't you think? Let's just say someone that smokes right now, a person who smokes, thinks, I just don't want to inhale anything anymore. And at the same time, the public perception is shifting because of Zyn or better publicity for it. It's not a smoke product. It's not heat not burn. It is a smoke-free product, and they go, I might try that. And their popularity may just go as vaping did for us. And I'm okay with that. I don't give a shit. But
Kevin, we have repeatedly said on this show, if vaping had not been around and they had introduced heat not burn, vaping wasn't invented, and they said, hey, here's heat not burn, and it's at least 90% safer than a cigarette. We'd be on a show talking about different heat sticks now.
Quite likely.
So
maybe or maybe not. I don't know. But it's insane that they've demonized less for the other products. It kind of bothers me, really. Not that I want them to. That's not my point. It's just they're not yet doing it, seemingly. Like they have the vaping part.
Yeah. Now, Kev, our friend up in Canada, Maria. I am not going to say her name. Maria.
Wasn't she on the show?
She has been on the show. Yes.
Okay. I thought so.
A very long time ago.
Okay. I think that's either one I watched or was on. I didn't think I was on it though, for sure.
Right. So this week, the CPAC, this is not the conservative group CPAC. This is the Canadian thing CPAC. It's not the same exact thing. The Canadian Rights for Vapers held a press conference, and I thought we would, since we're friends with Maria on X or Twitter or whatever you want to like it, we're going to listen to Maria for a little bit. I have a
here today representing Rights for Vapers, Canada's largest advocacy movement for vaping and safer nicotine products. Joining me is Sam Tam from the Canadian Vaping Association.
Sam Tam.
And together we're here to talk about some critical issues surrounding vaping and safer nicotine products in Canada. I'll begin with a few key points, and then Sam will speak before we open the floor to questions. Over the past 10 years, since vaping entered the market, we've seen a disturbing pattern of fear-mongering, misinformation, and deliberate efforts to push people back towards smoking.
Misinformation, fear-mongering, and efforts to push people back to smoking. I think that's the same thing they're doing down here, Kevin. And in Australia, and in, you know. Well, you know, the Canadians might be a little behind us, CB. 10 years would put it in, you know, a couple years behind us.
Instead of celebrating the fact that more Canadians are quitting, we're being misled by a small but very vocal group of tobacco control zealots who keep shifting the narrative around smoking and vaping. They rely on sensationalism, using children as weapons, and in their mission to eliminate any options for Canadians to quit smoking that are not created by pharmaceutical companies.
So, you know, the weaponization of children, Kevin.
Oh, God love them. Yeah.
Yeah. Weaponization of children. So the whole thing is years ago, back in the vaping militia days when we were helping people prep for testifying on local issues.
Yep.
You know, it came up many times. Well, do you think I should take my kid and have them talk? And we always were very nervous about that. We didn't want to do that. You know, we just didn't feel like that was something that we should do.
I know.
And it wasn't until Matt from Maryland in that Baltimore hearing brought his kids out to have them talk about how they perceive vaping and having their dad like be healthier has affected them, that we were like, maybe we should have done that. Yeah. But our enemies are more than happy to trot kids out and, you know, brainwash them, or not even brainwash them, offer them a day out of school and a free T-shirt,
pizza,
and a pizza party on the way home,
maybe Doritos.
And now, I mean, maybe we should have weaponized the kids too, but we actively chose not to, and this might have been a result of that.
Yeah. These groups have gone so far as to criticize Minister Sachs for having a conversation with Canadians about vaping. Why? Because she doesn't blindly follow their demands to ban flavors in this country. I, like most Canadians, about 2 million of us who vape today, successfully use vaping to quit. I am truly perplexed by the attempts to create barriers against proven methods to reduce tobacco-related illness. We can all agree that kids should not have access or use vaping products. There are laws in place already for stopping this. Responsible shop owners don't sell to kids. These kids are getting vapor products from friends, family members, their parents, and most disturbing, a black market. It is time to...
Now, Kevin, if you tell somebody they can't have something, they're going to get it.
Oh, they're going to get it, and they're going to
100% of the time.
Well, yeah.
anytime you reduce access to something that somebody likes, it's she said disturbing she said, and most disturbing the black market, but it's expected. I mean, as a person that looks at humans all the time and analyzes their behavior as part of my job, you just start to be, observant. And easily you tell somebody they can't have something, the first thing they want is that thing that you tell them they can't have. And if they can't get it legally, they'll get it illegally.
Yep. They're gonna.
So I'm not disturbed or surprised that black markets have developed. We warned Mitch Zeller in 2014 in that fucking phone call the day after the fucking release of the language of the ANPRM for this. He was warned, and he denied on that phone call. He denied a black market would ever exist.
No whack-a-mole for me.
Yeah. Now, I mean, Australia is seeing the benefits of a black market with, over 100 convenience store bombings in the last 2 years. Yeah.
To enforce the laws already in place and not target law-abiding adults who simply want an alternative to smoking. The evidence is clear. Vaping is one of the most effective tools for quitting smoking, and it's time to stop letting misinformation get in the way of that. So today we're going to make 3 requests to our government. 1, it's time to reform tobacco control organizations. We're calling on the government and Health Canada to dismantle and defund the current structure of tobacco control organizations in our country. They are not advocates for improving public health. Last week, we witnessed.
Now that's the defund and dismantle tobacco control organizations in a country.
Big ass demand, ain't it? Why not?
I mean, I'm pretty sure that the American Lung Association has a pretty big toehold in Canada because they have a big toehold everywhere else.
Yeah.
So you're going to try to take down the Lung Association.
She's saying it, at least.
That is an ask right there. That's a tough one.
We probably both agree it will never happen, but she's saying it out loud. I like that part. Whether it's going to happen
these
or not.
Organizations publicly pressure our minister of mental health and addictions to take swift action, showing little concern for the broader consequences. We know what will happen with a national flavor ban because we have seen it in Quebec. Flavors will continue to be available, but the market will move underground where it is not regulated. Today, after 1 year of a flavor ban, flavors are still available in Quebec. Kids still vape in Quebec, and some people who vape in Quebec have returned to smoking. Flavor bans do not work. This approach is not just misguided, it's driven by misinformation, and it's time for change. I personally was speechless when I saw 3 longstanding members of Canada's tobacco control regime, individuals with decades of experience, demand that Minister Sachs follow the leads of countries like Brazil, Thailand, India, and China in banning flavored nicotine products, or she should leave her job.
Oh, yeah. Let's use China as a model of how we should handle things. China, the country that has imprisoned millions of people, the Uyghurs, which are Chinese Muslims, have put them in concentration camps, Kevin, and forced labor. That's the country you want to model yourself after. That's the country you want to copy their policies from. Now, you do realize that China is the source of most of these products that you're demonizing.
Yeah.
They'll sell them to you, but they are also a authoritarian regime that also owns the tobacco companies in their country. let's make that clear. In China, they have a monopoly on their tobacco companies. No, there's no independent tobacco companies in China.
No.
So yeah, and the Uyghurs, yeah, they are a minority, but there's millions of them that are in concentration camps. CB, that's awful, and you don't want to use them as an example of something that you want to be like for anything.
Are these the countries that we should be emulating when it comes to regulations? We must not forget the long history of human rights violations in each of these countries. This isn't just a lapse in judgment. It reflects just how broken and out of touch these tobacco control organizations have become when they celebrate policies from countries with horrific human rights violations.
I wish she had run this past me, because I would have included the paragraph about China owning their own, owning the tobacco industry in their country. And I believe was Malaysia on the list? Because Malaysia owns theirs as well.
I don't think it was.
Oh, okay. I know that I heard Thailand on that list. And we have a friend that's been on the show from Thailand, and he says you can get vaping anywhere in Thailand. Singapore, on the other hand, not so much. But they do cane people in the street. And we did cover a story where a school teacher beat the shit out of a kid for vaping at school.
That's right.
Yeah, remember that? I remember that.
Right.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Did mention Denmark and Finland and praised them for their flavor ban. Sweden was notably overlooked despite reducing its smoking rate to under 5%, largely due to snus and flavored nicotine pouches that have played a vital role in harm reduction. Similarly, New Zealand, which embraced vaping, including flavored options, has seen a remarkable progress in their smoking rates.
They're under
Since
5%.
promoting vaping in 2019, their smoking rates have dropped from 11.8% to 6.8% in less than 4 years. Number 2, the need for federal leadership. We have seen a shift in how the federal government views vaping. We are grateful, and we are grateful that they do not take a knee-jerk reaction and to the emotional pleas of tobacco control. Health Canada is studying the research. Our collective goal is to help Canadians who quit smoking. Does it really matter how they do it? We need the federal government to step up even more and work with their provincial counterparts to implement consistent regulations. Today, there are different regulations in each province and territory. This results in the proliferation of the black market and confusion.
So I think we've talked about that several times here, Kevin, about having different laws in different states and having 50 different island regulation and the difficult. I mean, Canada doesn't have nearly as many states as we do.
And they're already confused.
We have 50.
That's right.
Yeah. But the link for the rest of this is on the show notes. Go watch our friend Maria. Tweet it out if you want to. We need to get our friend some views out there and attention on this. Plus, I just love the idea that she says that the government should just dismantle their tobacco control.
That's right.
And defund and dismantle I just love that.
Say things to piss them off.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Tell me when I'm over the top. That's all.
No, I'm just going to go a little bit further.
Once you let me know where the line is, I'll just, we go.
I'll just cross it.
Yeah, that's not close enough. No.
Don't show me no lines. I'll just cross it. But here we go, Kevin. This is what?
Go ahead.
This is a story from the UK. It says an NHS doctor shares scary video of what happens to your lungs when you vape, Kevin. So if you scroll down here,
well,
there's going to be a window.
A window.
I just love it when articles do this when they don't load right. This is really piss poor web hosting right here. Here we go. So let's watch this.
Watch this. I'm a lung lover, a chest doctor, and I'm going to take you on a radiological journey through the vaping lung.
I'm not going to lie, it's a tiny bit scary.
E-Valley describes a range
Talking about vaping goes right to the E-Valley, Kevin.
Well, why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
The lung caused by vaping, and it stands for e-vaping.
So it's all a bullshit story now.
You can see on this chest x-ray hazy diffuse shadowing on both sides. Normal lung looks black, abnormal is white. And where the arrows are around the heart, you can see the sparing of the cardiac borders and also sparing at the edges of the pleura. And this is really pathognomic of a vaping injury. This is the same lung, just taken from the front, and you can see those white infiltrations throughout the lung, and that's acute inflammation. The very worst way this can present is progression to something called ARDS.
Now, Kevin,
what?
I'm not a lung doctor.
Neither am I.
But I do work in healthcare.
Yeah.
And I've had a handful of ARDS cases before there were such thing as vaping, by the way.
Uh-huh.
And after. Now, none of my patients that have ever had ARDS had ever vaped.
There you
go. So, you know, this lung doctor who's supposedly an expert on this subject matter has decided to include E-Valley in her video and is showing chest x-rays of somebody who had E-Valley as a result of vaping.
Right. So the truth is in the lie.
I don't respect her credentials on this topic.
No, it's already done.
But this particular story I saw on like 9 or 10 different news articles this week. Now, later, Kevin, I'm going to show you an embedded news story that was repeated over 30 times in the last 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Acute respiratory distress syndrome. And when you look at this lung, you don't have to be a doctor to realize that all the white stuff is abnormal, which means there's no air getting into that lung or going into the body as oxygen. This person will require ventilatory support on the intensive care unit. This is a chest x-ray showing something called hypersensitivity pneumonitis. Again, it's like an allergic reaction to compounds within the vape that causes this acute inflammation.
Now that's a new one that we haven't heard, Kevin.
Which part?
Within the lung.
Hypersensitivity pneumonitis.
You can see this hazy shadowing, and it often affects the upper zones. Patients with these problems can present with cough, with phlegm, sputum, and sometimes bringing up blood. They'll also be short of breath. This is something called popcorn lung, but unfortunately, there's nothing as nice as popcorn involved.
Popcorn lung, Kevin. Popcorn lung.
Truth.
This is a condition where the small airways are inflamed and damaged and become thickened and fixed. And we call that obliterative bronchiolitis. And I put some circles around the abnormal airways there. Because of that abnormality of the small airways, as you breathe in and then out, you trap air within the lungs and you become breathless. This CT scan shows again white infiltrates in the lungs, but much denser. And this is fat and lipoid pneumonitis.
Oh, lipoid pneumonia, Kevin.
Huh.
No, this is from the UK, Steve. This is not from Australia. This is a UK doctor who is a part of the National Health Services that prescribe vaping.
This is some histology of the lung. The white blobs are fat tissue, and the lungs don't want to have fat tissue.
Now, again, lipoid pneumonia. I'm not watching any more of this, Kevin. Lipoid pneumonia is caused from inhalation of fats, of oils.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know who in here other than me and Kevin make our own e-liquid, but as you know, if you do make your own e-liquid, there are no oils.
Yeah, no, there's nothing.
There are no lipids. You cannot
I wasn't
get
told to
lipoid
put any
pneumonia from water-based chemistry. You can't. I had an argument on Twitter about 3 months ago with a doctor, and I cut and pasted stuff directly from a textbook. And he still argued with me that VG could cause lipoid pneumonia. I showed him a molecule of a fat cell and a molecule of VG to show that they have no common chemistry.
They're not friends.
And he still argued. He still said, I didn't know what I was talking. I was just like, dude, this is the textbook that I'm getting this from. Organic chemistry. Here it is. Boom. Nope. Mm-mm.
They're idiots.
You can't fix stupid, Kevin.
No.
You can't fix stupid.
No.
I've tried, but you're still here.
That's right. Yep. You're pushing me. I'm tired. They're never.
All right, here we go. Look at this one. I got a video. I got another video, Kevin. This is only 1:39.
One Hampton High School is dealing with the aftermath of students needing treatment after vaping on school grounds. The incident sent 4 students to the hospital on Tuesday after Bethel High School administrators said the pen was drug-infused. Madison Schlegel has the latest.
Bethel Executive Principal Tanya Howard says that some of those students had an adverse reaction and required medical attention. And health experts tell us that this type of medical treatment isn't just growing here in Hampton, but statewide. Julian Walker with the Virginia Hospital and Healthcare Association says the number of people hospitalized because of...
Now, again, they're showing regular old, disposable vaping products here, Kevin.
Well, of course.
These are
narrative.
These are not like druggy vapes. These are regular old nicotine. Just again, I would never use this, but still, again, the headline had nothing. It says nothing about illicit fentanyl or whatever vaping. It just says vapes and e-cigarettes. So the viewers in these areas that watch this shit on their local news are seeing this and going, "Oh my God, little Timmy could be doing drugs."
Of a vape pen or e-cigarette surged to 109% in the last 3 years.
Those overall numbers more than doubled. They went from about 23,600 in 2020 to nearly 50,000 in 2023.
Some of those hospitalization cases because of vape pens, like the incident reported at Bethel High School, involve people under the age of 18. The Virginia poison...
So you just admitted a whole bunch of kids are breaking the law.
Breaking the law.
That's one of my favorite Judas Priest songs. Breaking the law. Breaking the law.
Center tracks that data for the eastern and central parts of the state in cases where people call in an emergency.
For 2024, 24 human exposure cases for marijuana-related vaping devices, and 19 of those were under 18.
Bethel leaders haven't decided the disciplinary action that the 4 students will face, and we reached out to the Hampton City Schools, and they declined for further comment. What we do know, though, is that those Bethel leaders are also encouraging parents to talk to their kids about drug use and bringing prohibited items like vapes to school.
Speak with your children. Don't talk at them or, stuff like that.
Fuckers. Hey, I got an idea. Make it illegal for these. Oh, never mind. Forget it.
Can we dismantle and defund the news media, Kevin?
Oh my God, I would love.
So, I was here a while ago, Kevin, and I had a short day at work today. So I sat down here and I was bored. So I turned on the TV and I started watching this TV show that was on HBO like 10 years ago, 12 years ago. It's called The Newsroom.
Okay.
And it's all about like this TV news program. And then, again, this was from like 12, 14 years ago. Obama was still president when it was on.
Yeah.
And the whole premise of this show is that the main character, who is like the news, the main guy on camera during the news show, the nightly news show, is fed up with all of the bullshit and misinformation on TV, and he wants the news media to be more responsible with their reporting and to stop the sensationalism and stuff. And I'm like, this is from like 14 or 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And
scary.
And I'm just like, I think there's a scene in the very first scene in the very first episode. I'm sure you've seen it over the years. It's on YouTube 100 times, where he's talking about why America is no longer the greatest country in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, it's a spectacular opening scene. But I sat here and watched like 5 episodes, and throughout the whole show, he is constantly talking about why we need to change the media and to get rid of all the lies and the BS and the misinformation. And you're like, this is not a new problem. This is a problem that has been identified. That they made a whole fucking TV show about it.
Yep.
But they still haven't solved the problem, Kev.
There is no journalism. They're all stenographers now.
Well, no, now they're all opinion. It's all about opinion now. It's all op-ed. There is no news anymore. Everybody has to, when I went to, and I did take journalism classes when I was in college, and, we were always told never to include yourself in the story.
Right.
You're just there to, relay facts and information.
That's not what it is now.
And that is definitely not what it is anymore.
Nowhere near it.
Definitely not what it is anymore. Where is this thing at? Oh, here we go. So, Kev, you know what time it is?
Oh, meow. Oh, wow.
It's time for the Vape Cats X of the Week.
Wow. Wow. So, Baker B tweeted this week.
Baker B.
And this goes into what we were talking about, poor Australia. So he says, so I just did my calling around to 10 local chemists to check if they were selling vapes, and the stats are, drum roll, 1 out of 10. He called 10 different pharmacies, and only one of them, and only that one that had them would only sell them if you have a prescription, even though the law says they don't have to have a prescription anymore.
The law says.
Yeah. But we already talked about, the pharmacy guild does not want to sell them. They don't want that responsibility. They don't like the product.
Why are you putting it off on our ass?
Yeah.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah. So I just thought, I'm not very happy about that. But anyway, then you sent this tweet, Kev. And it says, Gretchen Whitmer just did something very weird with Doritos and a girl on her knees. So I'm not going to click on the Daily Caller, but I do actually have another tweet with that on it. I'm gonna unrub this one a little bit so that you can see the whole thing. So, many people here may not be the most religious people in the world. But if you're a politician and you want to get rid of like a good number of your constituents, do this.
Well, I don't hear sound, but this is, I don't even understand this.
There's no
bullshit story.
Kevin, you're not Catholic. But
No,
when you go to receive Holy Communion,
yeah, I was Episcopalian. I had communion.
You go to the front of the church and you kneel, and the priest places the communion wafer on your tongue.
Yeah.
So she is mocking the Eucharist.
I'm not quite sure what the fuck she's actually doing.
Well,
I just thought this is a governor.
They're mocking the Eucharist. They're mocking the Holy Communion.
She's
as a Catholic, not the best Catholic in the world, but as a Catholic, I think if you want to piss off a good portion of your electorate, do something like this.
I do not understand what this is for or about. I don't know.
She was on a podcast that's like chips and where did it go?
Is Doritos made in Michigan at least, maybe? Or?
No, it had nothing to do with Doritos, Kevin. It had to do with the podcast that she was on is called what is it called? The girl's name is Liz Plank, and the podcast is called, it's taking a second to load. The podcast is called, would you quit? Something with chips.
I don't understand how a state governor
Chip Chat
is doing what the
it's
fuck
called
ever she
Chip
was
Chat,
doing.
Kevin.
Yeah.
So the host and their guests sit on a couch and they eat chips while they talk. That's the whole point of the show, but it's called Chip Chat with Liz.
These two guys will sit and talk about vaping all fucking night. That's what you're going to tell me next, then.
Well, I mean, obviously, this host is on the payroll of big snack.
But adults don't like flavors, Patrick.
This has nothing to do with vaping, Kevin. I don't understand why you.
I know. Well, because she's the queen of flavor bans.
All of the uproar about this is just the stupid political move that this is by trying to piss off half of your electorate.
Now, is she a Democrat or a Republican? Democrat?
She's a Democrat, Kevin.
God, my goodness gracious. It didn't matter. I just don't understand why a governor is doing what she's doing, period.
Because she's not very bright. She's never been very bright.
Tell me this was after hours, after 5 o'clock, right? That's all.
I have no idea, but
that's your representative there, Mark.
That's Gretchen Whitmer, or I always
Gretchen.
Gretchen. I always call that one Caitlyn Jenner, Governor Caitlyn Jenner.
Gretchen. I do not understand.
Then we get R Street.
Yeah,
R Street has published a piece. It says, in the absence of the FDA making safe regulated domestically produced nicotine delivery devices available to domestic consumers, the market is increasingly flooded instead with unsafe, unregulated Chinese alternatives. Now, Kevin, I don't immediately think that anything produced in China is unsafe.
No, I don't think it's.
I mean, our cell phones are made in China. We don't call them unsafe.
Right.
Our TVs and all of our electronics are manufactured there. Most of our clothing is manufactured there, if not in Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of places like that. I do. Our street is
probably 80%.
A conservative think tank, Kevin. I don't want to demean our street, but I don't want to be racially, racist and say that everything from China is bad.
No.
I do like lo mein and egg rolls. But yeah, there is a link in that tweet to a very long article. I would invite you to read that at your own leisure, because we're not going to read the whole thing here. It's really long. But yes, without clear and fair regulation, the market has been pretty much handed over to China.
Yeah.
Who
And
will produce
I'm guessing
anything for $1. Like they're all about making money. Really, they're the most capitalist society in the world now, because the government at least is making lots of money over there on creating and selling goods over here.
Somebody can fact check it if they like. I would say Walmart's product retail, not the grocery, but the retail side is probably 80 or better % Chinese. I'm assuming.
Before it was like bad to promote or say, be proud of American stuff. I can remember going into Walmart and they would have signs throughout the store for everything that was made in America.
Yeah.
But
they don't do that.
They don't do that anymore.
They haven't done that in 15, 20 years.
Well, that's why I said I remember when I was a kid going into Walmart. Yeah. But yeah, they used to have like on their display, made in America, American made, not anymore.
Mm-mm.
And most of your fruit and vegetables are from Mexico anyway.
Right. Yeah.
But here.
Insane.
Yep. Then we get a story here from the Keck School of Medicine at USC, Kevin.
All right.
Vaping devices with video games.
I saw it. I didn't read it. All right. Okay.
Recently, there has been a noticeable nostalgia trend on social media, ranging from the early 2000s fashion to retro gaming. In today's digital age, popular games from the 1980s and 90s are experiencing resurgence and being introduced to new audiences. According to researchers from the Keck School of Medicine, one industry that has noticed this popularity is e-cigarette companies who have started to produce new vaping devices that contain video games, leaning into this trend.
Mm-hmm.
We have observed several new vaping devices that contain video games that resemble popular games such as Pac-Man, Tetris, and Mario, and even virtual pets. There's little key fob games that they had in the where you had a little egg that would hatch and you had to feed it and stuff, and it would Tamagotchi.
Kids had one. Yeah.
I never
heard they both had
too
one.
old for that shit. But anyway, Jennifer Unger, PhD, professor of population and public health sciences at the Keck School of Medicine. This comes at a time when the US FDA has warned e-cigarette companies to stop selling vaping products that resemble toys because they could attract youth to nicotine use.
That's right.
Yeah. Now, if anybody can find a vape that has Pac-Man on it, let me know, because I really like Pac-Man.
Oh, I don't want any.
At our USC Tobacco Center of Regulatory Studies, we survey and identify new vape tobacco products in the market that might entice adolescents and young adults into vaping. Again, I don't give a shit what young adults do. They're adults, Kevin.
Yeah, that's same comment from earlier. Leave adults alone.
Our investigators research the more subtle attributes of tobacco marketing that attract youth consumers and investigate why kids like these products and what the products do. In our latest research, we found that these products are made to be attractive to teenagers, especially when vaping is directly tied into a reward system on the game. If a teenager gets a hold of these, they're going to think they're really fun. I've actually seen advertisements for them, CB. I have not seen one in real life. But yes, they do have them. I'm not going to tell you which distributor I get emails from that I saw them I'm going to double check here before I show this on screen. I don't want to get in trouble.
I've seen the Minions or whatever, a mod or something that was made a while back, but Minecraft, I've seen that.
I think Minecraft would be way too memory expensive to all this one you have to pay for.
No, these were just designs, not.
No. I'm looking for the actual. Oh, here we go. This is a whole. Yeah, here we go. I'll just open this picture in a new tab.
James says he's seen Tetris. Okay.
I'm seeing Tetris right now.
I had no idea they existed, and I don't want one, so I barely like my phone.
Yeah, here, I got one. Share this tab. Yeah. So there you go. You got Tetris and Pac-Man over here. And this one says something about beast mode. I don't know what this one is. But yep, this is it. This is a disposable vape with video game right on the side.
So you keep the video game forever and the vape just stops working?
Apparently. I don't know if they're rechargeable, so once the battery's dead, you just throw it away, I guess. That's probably not super great for the environment.
Right. See, he's got minion mods and a hand grenade. See? There you go.
There used to be a guy who would make mods out of like soda, like big, huge, like 40 ounce soda cans.
Yeah.
And it had like a glass straw that would come out of the can, and it would look like you were drinking, but you were actually vaping. Like he made like Arizona green tea ones, and you put your tank in the inside, and it just, you could put it in your cup holder, and it just looked like a cup or a can with a straw in it. Those were cool. I never got one, but those were pretty neat.
Where there's a will. Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this type of stuff like here, I've seen tons of Altoid cans. There was a modder that made a lot of those, and I sent her like $400 to make a custom device for me, and she skated out with all my fucking money. Back in the day when we had Vape Court.
Yeah.
Remember Vape Court?
I heard about that.
Yeah, Shan was her name. Shan skated out with like 2 devices and like $400 of my money. That was her name, Shan. Yeah, whatever. I can't linger on being upset. But yeah, video games and stuff like that will be ammunition for our enemies, Kevin.
Of course.
This is why we can't have nice things.
That's exactly why.
Yeah. She must have been one of her victims as well. She says, yep, she robbed tons of us. But The Atlantic says that the public health has a blueberry banana problem here. It says,
Lord.
Public health, Donald Trump says vapes can help Americans quit smoking, and he's right. Oh, dear God, somebody's going to get in trouble because they said Donald Trump was right, Kev.
They're all nuts.
Yeah. But I'm just going to read the first paragraph because I don't have. But it says here, these days you can easily find vapes and flavors that include Lush Ice, blueberry banana, mango lychee, hot fudge, and fucking fab, whatever that is. No matter which one you choose, it's most certainly illegal. The tiny battery-powered devices that produce a mist of nicotine when you inhale. Why is Juul always getting the credit, Kevin?
Because they're easy.
First popularized by Juul. I had been vaping for 5 or 6 years before Juul even was on the market.
Yeah. Well,
First popularized are not outright banned, at least not for adults, but only a few flavored vapes have gotten no flavored vapes. None, zero. This guy says only a few flavored vapes have gotten FDA authorization. None.
they're nuts. They're all nuts.
This is bad reporting, guy. Who is this? Nicholas? Come on, Nicholas. Zero flavored vaping products have been approved. This hasn't stopped hundreds of shadowy companies, mainly based abroad, from effectively hawking contraband vapes. Are sold in the sold to Americans online for as little as $5 and are well stocked in convenience stores, smoke shops, and even vending machines.
Right.
So yeah, I just love this fact that Donald Trump is
he's right.
Donald Trump is right, but I saved vaping and I'll do it again. Well, if you saved vaping, then
every cycle I say this is a clown show, and this is like the clown show of clown shows, all the way around.
I mean,
I'm so tired of these fucking ads.
I was here, and I don't recall him saving shit.
Yeah, you would know.
All right, look, Kevin, we got a video piece here that we're gonna borrow from filtermag.org.
All right.
It's our friend Helen Redmond. Now you let me know. You let me know if you hear audio.
I do. Yep.
All right. There's a guy on a scooter.
I had been a cigarette smoker for many years as a young man, and when I smoked English ovals, non-filtered Turkish tobacco, the strongest cigarettes you could smoke. And I picked up that habit from my old man. And then I stopped smoking for about 20 years. And life happens. I picked up the habit again. Every time I lit up a cigarette that I didn't want to smoke anymore. I didn't like the smell. I didn't like the way it made my throat feel. But I love nicotine. And there's no denying that.
I love nicotine, Kevin.
That's right.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
Nicotine. It's what's
nicotine does a lot of things. Nicotine is a stimulant drug, of course. So it gives you a boost, but it also helps you relax. It also levels you out in some kind of way. Everybody's brain is a little different. Everyone's brain needs a little tweaking in one's own particular kind of way. And harm reduction, the field of harm reduction accepts that and celebrates that and tries to work out ways for us to increase our pleasure and reduce the harm or risks associated with a particular behavior. I got a joy, and I literally stopped smoking the next day. I started vaping, and I literally did not smoke cigarettes after that. But that's my experience with vaping, and that was over 10 years ago.
Huh.
Huh? What are you hunting?
I can't believe he quit just like that. That's amazing.
Yeah, I quit in one day myself, Kevin.
Wait a minute. Yeah, we less than 48 hours. Yeah.
I bought a $250 stick battery at the kiosk at the mall.
Yep.
And I never picked up another cigarette ever again.
Yep.
So I'm quite happy with my quit journey.
I'm using 48 hours liberally, but it the first day was both. The first day was in the afternoon, and I still smoked that afternoon and evening. The next morning, it was a few, let's say 10 for the whole day. And then the third morning, I didn't touch another one. So if I say 48 hours, I don't know exactly how far I went, but quickly. And I kept looking at it like, how the fuck does this thing work? And why is it working?
Yep.
It's like I was stunned. So
Giving up smoking cigarettes is one of the hardest drugs to stop. You can give up heroin, you can give up crack, but cigarettes are the hardest one to put down. It has to do with the way nicotine functions, the way it works.
Now, I disagree with him on this topic here, Kevin. If you ask a heroin addict whether it was easy to quit heroin, he's going to tell you no. And there's a reason why they have methadone clinics everywhere.
Yes.
So I disagree with him on this, but I'm, you can't always agree 100% of the time.
That's his.
As long as we agree on the key points, that's important.
In the brain and the sites of action that it stimulates. There are multiple pathways to the pleasure center, and nicotine lights them all up. Harm reduction for tobacco, I think, is essential in our world. So many of the people that I work with smoke cigarettes, do it at great peril to themselves. The harms of tobacco are at least equal to the harms of alcohol. And yet these are two drugs that are widely available and that are legal, that have been marketed for decades without concern for people's health and wellness. What I would say to people who are opposed to vaping and people who would want to ban it is what I tell them about all drugs. We don't need more prohibition. What we need is good, honest information so that we can make informed choices. Like vaping. People who oppose it are full of shit. The evidence is in. Vaping is much less harmful than smoking cigarettes. Period. That's an uncontrovertible fact.
Incontrovertible.
People, is get up off the high horse, the blind ideology, and let's get with the facts. Follow the evidence. You'll be surprised where it takes you.
Well, he must be under the tobacco control shill section of the Twitterverse.
Well, yes, Kevin. I mean, Tahir would say that he's on the payroll of somebody.
And if we haven't said it this week, fuck Tahir.
I didn't. That was the first time we've actually we had alluded to him multiple times during the show, but we had not spoken his name.
We hadn't said clown fucker.
A clown fucker? That's just gross, Kevin.
Well, he likes clowns. He is a clown. He went to clown college. I'm assuming.
We went to college in Australia somewhere. So
that's what I heard.
Yeah,
allegedly.
May,
could, might.
Now, Kevin, we've been hearing this that kids from low socioeconomic range are the ones more likely to do bad things. But according to this, children from wealthy backgrounds are more likely to vape, drink, and do drugs. And this is from the Social Mobility Commission that finds well-off children 13% more likely to drink. So children from wealthy backgrounds are more likely to drink, smoke, vape, and use illegal drugs compared to those from less advantaged households, a study has found. Research at the Social Mobility Commission found that almost a third, 32% of young people from a wealthy family had a drink or had drunk alcohol in the previous month, compared with just 19% with less affluent background. Around 13% had vaped compared to 10% in the less advantaged group. Almost a quarter, 23%, had used drugs compared to 17% in the low affluent group. Smoking, however, was slightly higher among people from the low affluent group at 5% compared to 4%. So that's pretty close. Research analyzed NHS digital data from a 2021 survey, which saw young people self-report their habits. Well, then you can't really trust anything they say. The findings appear to contradict other data sets and surveys that have found that deprived areas have higher rates of smoking and alcohol use. However, the researchers cautioned that the data was captured when some pandemic restrictions were still in place, which may have impacted the findings. In the report, the authors write that the findings run in opposite direction to, I think maybe they just put the numbers in the calculator wrong. Is what I think, Kevin, because this runs counter to every bit of logic that we've ever seen.
You mean for the the evil that shall not be named?
No, I'm just still talking about in general.
In general,
people from low socioeconomic groups have always chosen riskier behavior.
Yes.
So that's why I say that this is probably a statistical anomaly, or maybe they did their calculations wrong.
Probably. I got thinking about that. I saw something that my girlfriends over there at PAVE did, and it's something about the stats not to be used for 2021 and 2, I think is what they told us. The FDA actually said that. And I thought, well, wait a minute. You don't want us to use the stats that your narrative states that it's the most addictive thing ever and they're hooked and flavors and fuck off but it didn't happen during these 2 years, so don't use those numbers. Fuck you. Anyway, rant over.
Wow. But so Kev,
yeah,
how do you want to say goodnight to the people that won't follow us over to Rumble?
If don't kill your children.
Please don't kill your children. That's
I've been extra nice this week.
How about we just murder is wrong? Let's not kill anybody, Kev. Let's just
Parenting is an action verb. Grandparenting is an action verb. Be nice to each other, and fuck the rest of them. Stop telling adults what to do.
But I'm slapping the link to Rumble.
Yeah.
CB doesn't know what Rumble is. CB's like YouTube, but it's a free speech platform, so they don't edit your language. So we do the second.
We still pretty well behaved though,
so that we can talk about things that we can't talk about here. So, anywho, we're gonna take a short little break, and then we're gonna come back but we'll only be on the Rumble. So you got to go to the Rumble. But here, I'll Mallory's already over in the Rumble, Kevin. So that's good. But I'm going to play a short little video, 3 minutes. Kevin's going to go get coffee. I'm going to go refresh my drink, and we'll be right back.
See you.
I will not show my independence, and I will not be making my own decisions.
In 2009, a bipartisan Congress created the Center for Tobacco Products at the FDA, and then the president signed us into law. And no, the fact that Congress and the president agreed on something is not what was historic. It was that for the first time ever, FDA, since the time we were established in 1906, we're really the gold standard agency to make sure that every product you put on or in your body is safe and effective.
Bullshit. The FDA is expanding a recall of a popular blood pressure drug over concern it may contain an unwanted ingredient that can cause cancer.
Tonight, for people on medication to treat high blood pressure, the Food and Drug Administration is recalling several drugs that contain an ingredient, valsartan. That drug includes an agent that could cause cancer.
Pfizer recalls its popular anti-smoking drug Chantix over a possible cancer risk.
The recall was secondary to some unknown quantities of a chemical called NMDA. We do know that it can cause direct liver injury.
Now to the Food and Drug Administration and to questions of regulation. The salmonella outbreak and the major egg recall have raised questions once again about whether an agency charged with regulating drugs and food can adequately do its job.
I can share that